All right. Good morning again. Let's see. Angel, Fabian, Correa. Hi, Henry. Can we show our faces? No, don't show your face. I don't need to see your face. Your face probably look like mine. You was up late last night, not doing anything positive except for watching TV, Netflix, and all those other things. So, that being said, oh dang, it's like that, Caitlin. That's hurtful. That's real hurtful. All right. So with that being said, we're going to get right into it. We have some things that we need to review, plus the quiz. So there's a lot there. I do want to, I had to make that call, Deandra. I had to. So anyway, I want to make sure that we get through some of these quizzes. But here's the thing that I have to warn you. My computer this morning decided to spaz out. I don't know what's going to happen when I hit one note. It might drop a couple times. You've seen it done before, but just bear with it, and we will get through this together. All right, so let's get moving. Let me share my screen. Everybody's in. If you have questions as I go through this, make sure you write it in the chat. But let me share my screen. Okay. All right, let's bring up OneNote. Good there. All right. Should we jump into the quiz or should I jump? Yeah, let's just jump right into the quiz. So 9-5 first. All right. So there you go. 9-5 first. Let's get this reteach on. Okay. So solving linear systems of inequalities. Now, inequalities, remember, anytime you have a inequality, you have more than one answer. So if you have more than one answer, that's where we come in with this shading region, okay? A shaded region, it encapsulates, it makes sure that you have all of the coordinate pairs in that shaded region, okay? So with that being said, let's go through it. You can graph a system of linear inequalities by combining the graphs of the inequalities. Well, first, if I have this equation, y is less than or equal to, there's a couple things that they're jumping over. We have to know what these inequalities are. If I have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, what kind of line am I going to draw? It's going to be solid. It has to be a solid line, okay? This one over here says greater than. So if I have greater than or less than, what kind of line am I going to draw? Dashed, okay? It is not going to be solid. Why? What does that mean? We include all of the coordinate pairs that are on the line when the line is solid. We don't include all of the coordinate pairs that are on the line when the line is dashed. Okay, so that is the difference there. But if I'm graphing this, this is in what? Slope intercept form. Therefore, what does it give me? It gives me the y-intercept. The y-intercept is what? 0, 3. What's my slope? You got it? 2 over 1. Go up 2 to the right 1. So now, I'm going to zoom in so you can see. 0, 3. Here is 0, 3. I want to go what? Up 2. 1, 2. To the right, what? 1. That makes my second point. So I'm able to make a solid line through those 2 points. Now, whenever we get to inequalities, we need to shade. I told you can use the y-axis or just draw yourself a vertical line on this blue line, because I know sometimes you're like, what? So draw a vertical line. Now, this says less than, right? Less than would be this arrow. So everything on that side of the line needs to be shaded. And that's how you do just one of them, okay? So if I have the other one, I come over here again. Slope-intercept form, what is my y-intercept? Well, my y-intercept is 0, -6. What is my slope? -1 over 1. So I go down 1 to the right 1. So let's graph that. Here's 0. Here's -6. Go down 1 to the right 1. There's my second dot. Now I'm going to use a dashed line to get this done, because I don't want to include those coordinate pairs. All right. Now, I told you, draw a vertical line. You can use the y-axis, but you can draw a vertical line on there. This says greater than. So this arrow is the greater than. So I shade everything on that side of the line. And that's how you sit there and do inequalities. Well, if I have a system, I need to do all of that on one graph. So this was blue. This was green. And where's the double shaded region? Where the green and the blue overlap. So it would be the darker portion. Okay? Make sense? So now, what does that truly mean? It means anything inside this double shaded region makes both inequalities true. Okay? So 2 ordered pairs are solutions, 3 and 5 -2. How do I know that? Well, plug it in. Since y is 4, I'm going to say 4 is less than or equal to 2 times what? 3 plus 3. 2 times 3 is what? 6. 6 plus 3 is what? 9. Is 4 less than or equal to 9? Yes. Checks out. Let's do the other one. 4 is y greater than negative what? 3 minus 6. -3 minus 6 is -9. Is 4 greater than -9? Yes. Checks out. So that's how you do that. And that's pretty straightforward with making sure that you know how to do inequalities.
Probably a good idea. I usually.
Anybody got any questions?
I don't like you right now.
You don't have to like me. I already told you. We're gonna get this done.
You didn't have to call my dad, bro.
My job is to call all parents, all students. I called you first.
Why?
Because you ain't get your stuff done.
So happy I answered the phone.
I have 8 other classes to deal with.
Yes, and I am one. So, with that being said, Angel, talk to me.
I follow in.
Who's this?
Angel.
Hey, Angel, how you doing?
I'm good.
All right, me and you, we're gonna do some problems.
Okay.
All right, there. Angel, where are you? I'm gonna unmute Angel. Got that. So now, good. Let's scroll down a little bit. All right, Angel, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. All right, so let's do the question number 1. All right, is question number 1 in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
Beautiful. So the y-intercept is what?
1.
What's x equal to?
X is equal to 0, 1.
Where are you getting the 1 from?
Because X always has a 1 in front of it.
True. So y equals mx plus b. Doesn't b tell me what my y-intercept is?
3.
What kind of 3?
-3.
Beautiful. So what's my slope?
The slope is 1 over -3.
No. 1 over 1.
1
All we
over
have to
1.
do is, keep this. Y equals mx plus b. This says y is greater than 1x minus 3. My y-intercept is going to be that b, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the slope is going to be that 1. So 1 over 1. What does the slope tell me to do?
Go up 1 and right 1.
Beautiful. So let's graph 0, -3. I start on the x-axis at 0, and I go up or down?
Down
Down how many?
3.
Good. Now, how do I get my second point?
You can't remember. Oh, you do the slope from there now?
Yes.
Okay, so you go up 1 and right 1.
And that gets me my second point, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so now I'm looking here at the greater than sign. Is it going to be solid or dashed?
Dash.
So now I can make a dashed line. Good. Now, what do I have to create in order to know exactly what to do? Where to shade?
A vertical line.
To make a vertical line. All right, so am I going to do above or below?
Above?
Above, because of what? It says what?
Oh, greater than.
Greater than. So I'm going to shade everything that is above. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, so here we go. Second one. We have this one here now. What is the y-intercept?
The y-intercept is 0, -1.
Where's the b at?
The b is 6.
There we go. So we put b in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get 0 what?
0, 6.
0, 6. What is my slope?
The slope is 1 over 1, -1 over 1.
Beautiful. That tells me to do what?
Go down 1 and right 1.
Beautiful. So here we go. Let's graph it. I start at 0. I go up or down?
Down.
0, 6.
Oh, you start at 0 and you go up 6.
Beautiful. So there's my 1 point. Now I do what?
Now you go down 1 and right 1.
And that gets me my second point. Solid or dashed?
Solid.
Good. So I got that. I got that. Now what do I make?
Vertical line.
Vertical line. Am I going to go above or below?
Above.
Above, right? So here I go. I shade everything above. Now, where would be the double shaded region?
Where the 2 overlap.
Good. There we go. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Good. So now let's unmute everybody else. Anybody got any questions?
Oh my god, I thought it said your turn.
No,
Yes?
sir.
No? We're good?
I'm good.
All right.
Yes.
Beautiful. Here we go. So let's go. All right. This is for Algebra 2. My 15-1, that's coming up, right? So find the GCF. GCF stands for what? Greatest common factor, which means what is the biggest number that divides into two different numbers, correct? So how do we do this? Always start with the coefficients, correct? So you would do a factor tree and everything else, right? But if you look at this, I know that 5 goes into 15. I also know that 5 goes into 35. I know that factors of 35 would be what? 5 and 7. Does 7 go into 15? No. So therefore, I know that 5 is going to be the biggest factor that goes into both, right? Then when I look here, I have a power of 4, a power of 2. I pick the smallest one, 2. Why? Because I know there's at least 2 x's and x to the 4th. So x squared is going to be the greatest common factor of my x's. So 5x squared is my GCF of 15x to the 4th and 35x squared. Okay? So let's do this one. 12 and 30. Ooh, I'm not sure. Is it a 6? Is it a 12? Well, let's break it all the way down so you can see it. Factor tree. So 2 times what? 6. 2 times what? 3. So I get 2 times 2 times 3. Let's do 30. 2 times what? 15. Oops. I let somebody in and next thing I know, I'm off my page. Zoom. There we go. Let's make sure we got the right people. Jesus. Good morning. Good morning, Jesus. Okay. So now I got 30, which was 2 times 15. I break 15 down into what? 3. 3 and what? 5. So I get 2, 3, and 5. What are my duplicates? Here's a 2, here's a 2. So I'm able to write 2. Only write it once. This 2, there's no other 2, so I'd leave it alone. Here's a 3, here's a 3. So I write 3. There's a 5, no other 5. So I know my greatest common factor of 12 and 30 is 6. That's how you do that. All right, what about the P's? I got a P and I got a Q. Well, P is not Q. So I can't divide a P into both, and I can't divide a Q into both. So the greatest common factor is just plain old 6. Okay. Let's do this one. We got 27 and we got 45. I know that 27 doesn't have that many different factors. So I'm looking at that 3, and I'm also looking at 9, because 9 times 3 is what? 27. But I also know that 9 goes into 45, correct? 5 times 9. I'm shortcutting it because I know my multiple times table, okay? Since I know my times table, I'm able to do, okay, I see 9 is going to be the largest number that goes into both of these. So I can write 9. Now I look at the y. Here's a y, here's a y. This has a power of 1, this has a power of 3. What's the smallest one? 1. I know there's at least one of them over here. So I can write y to the first power, or just y. I have a z. Well, there's not z in both of them, so I can't write z's. Here's an x. I can't write x because there's not an x in both of them. So my greatest common factor is just simply 9y. All right, let's open this up. Greatest common factor. Anybody got any questions? Oh, we have nothing? Nothing at all? Beautiful. So let me pick somebody. Deandra.
Why did I have a feeling you were gonna pick me?
Well, you came up second, so I just picked you because it was there. Okay? All right, so let's deal with number 5. 12 and 12. What is the greatest common factor of 12 and 12?
3. Wait, 3 or 4?
Well, 3 goes into 12. 4 does go into 12. But what's even bigger?
6.
6 is even bigger. What's bigger than
12.
12? Beautiful.
I'm retarded. It's okay.
No, 12 goes into both, 12 and 12. So that's beautiful. I have an A. Is there an A over here?
No.
So can I divide A into both sides?
No.
So A is going. What about B?
No B.
No B. So my greatest common factor is just what?
12.
There you go. Beautiful. You want to do one more?
Sure.
All right. Let's do -6 and 9. What goes into 6 and 9?
3.
There you go. Beautiful. So I know 3 is going to come out. What about t? This is a power of what?
To the 3rd power.
And what about this one?
To no power.
Well, there is a power there. Understood what?
1 power?
1. So what's the smallest one?
1.
1. So I can write t to the
1st power.
1st power. Does that make sense?
For the most part.
If I rewrite this, -6 says t times t times.
Wouldn't it be -3 instead of just 3?
You just put 3 because when you start messing around with the negatives and everything, yes, -3 goes into 6. -3 also goes into 9, but so does 3. So keep it positive. So now when I use this portion, which is the next section, 3t, if I do -6t cubed divided by 3t, -6 divided by 3 is what?
-2.
What is t cubed divided by t to the 1st power?
T cubed still?
Not t cubed, but 3 minus 1 is what?
3 minus 1 is 2.
There you go. So you get t squared. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
So now I do the same thing here. What is 9 divided by 3?
3.
3. And what is t divided by t?
T?
1. Anything divided by itself is what?
1.
1, okay? So see how I'm able to take this, and when I divide it out, I can factor it to -2t squared plus 3. If I put a negative here, all it does is change the signs inside the parentheses. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's pick another person.
Oh, thank God.
Angel. Fabian. Come on, Fabian.
Hi.
Excited. Here we go. All right. We want to factor each polynomial. We want to check our answer. So that means multiply it back out. Now, here we go. 8 and 7. Is there any factor that goes into 8 and 7?
I think 8.
So let's break 8 down. What's the first number? What prime number goes into 8? Since it's even, it will always be what number?
2.
2. 2 times what?
4.
Break down 4.
2.
And?
2.
Beautiful. So the factor of 8 is 2, 2, and 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Let's break down 7.
Just 1 and 7.
1 and 7. Do you see any duplicates?
No, only
None.
an 8.
So therefore, there is no common factor between 8 and 7, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. What's this power?
Square.
Good. What's this power?
There isn't one.
There is one. It's just not written. What is it?
1.
1. Gotta make sure we understand that. It's 1. Which one is smaller, 2 or 1?
1.
1. So that means there's at least one more. There's 1 in the other side, correct?
Yeah.
So my greatest common factor of the C's is going to be C to the?
1.
There you go. C to the 1st power, just C, plain old C. So now that we factored it, watch this. I know that I'm going to take my GCF, which is just plain old C. I'm going to divide it by each term. And watch what happens. What is, 8's not divided by anything, so I just bring the 8 down. What is C squared divided by C?
C.
Good. Because no, C,
Oh,
because
C.
2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is just 1, right? So I get
Yeah.
to the 1st power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bring down the plus. Now 7, nothing's divided into 7, so I bring down 7. What is C divided by C?
C.
C divided by C. What if I said 4 divided by 4?
Oh, 1.
What if I said 20 divided by 20?
1.
There you go. So C divided by C is just 1, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I have 7. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now, if I want to check my answer, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put C, 8C plus 7. If I want to check, I'm going to do what? What is this called?
I know what it is.
Yep.
Distribution.
Distribution or distribute, correct? What is 8C times C?
8C
8C what?
square.
Beautiful. Because here's a 1, here's a 1. C times C, I add the powers. So 1 plus 1 is 2. What is 7 times C?
Is it 7C or just 7?
7C. Because it says 7 times C. So it's 7C. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And isn't that what we started with?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So I know that I factored it correctly. Does that make sense?
100%.
Okay. Now, when it comes to all of this, people, we have to understand, we have to make sure that we know the power. So y'all should be watching the videos. Whenever we multiply, I'll come over here and get some extra space. Whenever I take X and I multiply it by X, what do I do? This is multiplication. I add the powers. Okay, we have to make sure of this. So what are these powers? They're not written. Oh, so it's just 1. 1. So that says 1 plus 1. What is 1 plus 1? 2. So if I had x to the 3rd times x to the 5th, what would I get? 3 plus 5, which is what? X to the 8th. So we add powers. What if I have division? X to the 4th divided by x to the 3rd. We subtract the powers. Okay? You have to make sure we know this. Subtract powers. So I get x, 4 minus 3. What's on top? Subtract the bottom, okay? So I get x to the first power. What if I have x to the 8th divided by x to the 3rd? Let's make that readable. X to the 3rd. I get what? 8 minus 3, which is x to the 5th. And I can prove that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Divided by 1, 2, 3. We know that x divided by x is just 1. X divided by x is 1. X divided by x is 1. How many's left? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exactly our answer. Does that make sense? All right. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, so we have to make sure we know how to multiply and divide when dealing with powers. If I add them, they're totally different. If I said x plus x, what do you get?
X squared.
No,
I mean,
2x.
2x. All we do is add coefficients.
Oh, okay.
So we have to make sure that we understand that. When we multiply, we add powers. When we're adding just x and x, we add the coefficients, but leave the variables alone in the power. So if I have 2x to the 3rd plus 3x to the 3rd, what do I do?
5x to the 3rd.
To the 3rd. Do you see the difference?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so same thing with subtraction. If I have 8x squared minus 6x squared, what do I do?
2x to the
2x
squared.
squared.
2x squared. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Well, those are totally different than multiplying and dividing. These are different. Do not get them confused. We have to make sure that we have those down. Please work on that, okay? So now, factor each expression. I'll put you on mute again real quick. All right. So now, if I want to factor each expression, what am I factoring out? I have a binomial. How do I know it's a binomial? Because it's separated by this plus sign. Now, I see on the left side n plus 5. I see on the right side n plus 5. So I know that my GCF is equal to m plus 5 because it's on both sides. And if it's on both sides, I can divide it out, okay? So here we go. This is how I taught you on the video to do it. Surround the whole equation by your parentheses. Then you're going to match those parentheses with the width right there, but leave it blank, okay? Then you're going to put the GCF on the outside, which is m plus 5. Notice that says m plus 5 times whatever's going to be put in that parentheses. Well, how do I know what to put in the parentheses? I need to divide each term by my GCF, which is m plus 5. I need to divide each term by my GCF. Now, we just said it. What is 4 divided by 4? 1. So what is m plus 5 divided by m plus 5? 1. What's left? 3m. Bring down the plus sign. What is m plus 5 divided by m plus 5? It's 1. What's left? 4. So my factored answer is m plus 5 times 3m plus 4. And I can prove that that's the answer by multiplying out using FOIL, okay? All right, so now I just did that one. I'm going to call on somebody to help me out with the next one. Giovanni,
Yes, sir.
how you do, sir?
I'm doing good, sir.
Okay, so let's do this one.
Okay.
All right, so how many terms do you see?
3. I mean 1.
No, not 1.
2.
2. Because we know that that plus sign is going to separate it into what?
2 terms.
Yes, great job. So let me see something. I don't know why it's not coming up. Does somebody have a question? I see that there is something in the chat, but nothing's there now. All right. So anyway, all right. So it's divided into 2 terms. So this term and this term, correct?
Yes.
Now, what do you see that is exactly the same in both terms?
B minus 3.
There you go, b minus 3. Since you see that in both terms, our GCF is going to be what?
B minus 3.
B minus 3. Okay, so I just told you, what should I do to the whole expression?
Divide it.
Put it in what?
Parentheses.
Good. And now, don't I make a duplicate set of parentheses?
Yes.
So notice I'm giving myself some space, correct?
Yes, sir.
What do I put outside to the left of those empty parentheses?
B minus 3.
B minus 3, because that is my GCF. Now, what do I do with the B minus 3?
You divide it.
Divide it into what?
16B minus 3. I mean B minus 3. And then the B minus 3 on the other side.
Good. So now, B minus 3 divided by B minus 3 is just what number?
1.
1. So what's left?
16B.
16B. Oops. I put a B and no 6. So let's make sure we get that correct. Don't want to mess Giovanni up. So 16B. What do I put down now?
Plus.
Now, B minus 3 divided by B minus 3 is just
1.
what?
1.
1. Are you done factoring?
Yes.
Good. And there's your answer. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Beautiful. Anybody have any questions on that?
Nope.
No.
No, sir.
All right. So here we go. Let's go with Caitlin Guzman. All righty. Where you at, Caitlin? There you go. Caitlin, we're going to factor each polynomial by grouping. So my question is this. Did you watch the video? Actually, Caitlin, are you in that class? You're not in that class, are you? You're not in Algebra 2. You're in my first period, right? No, Caitlin? Caitlin's gone? Where's Caitlin? She disappeared? She ran? Caitlin.
Hello.
There you go.
Okay.
You're in my first period, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you probably didn't watch this video. So I'm going to show you one, and then me and you're going to do one together, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, notice how many terms do I have in problem number 17?
2,
Terms.
4
Terms are separated by what?
by the sign.
Yeah, the plus or minus sign. How many terms do I have?
4.
4, okay? So here we go. I'm going to take the first 2 and put them in parentheses. I'm going to take the second 2, I'm going to put those in parentheses. And to make sure I don't change it, because that says multiplication, right? With nothing in the middle, I'm going to add a plus sign. That means I'm going to take a binomial plus another binomial. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're just going to separate them and do them on their own. So let's look at 10d squared minus 6d. And just look at that all by itself, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What is the greatest common factor of 10 and 6?
I don't know.
All right, so here we go. Let's factor 10.
3rd.
Factor 10. What number goes into 10?
5.
True, but let's start with the smallest number. What is the smallest prime number? 2. 2 times what?
5.
There you go. So I'm done because 5 is a prime number, yes?
Yeah.
So let's do 6. What's the smallest prime number?
2.
2. 2 times what?
3.
There you go. Don't be scared. You got this. Do you see a number that is repeated on both sides?
The 2.
The 2. So that means my GCF of the coefficients is going to be what?
2.
2. There we go. Great job. So we did that. Now let's look at the variables. I have a d squared and a d to the, what power is right here?
1.
1. Which one's the smallest one?
1.
1. So I know that the GCF of d squared and d to the first power is the smallest one. So that's just d to the first power. There we go. So this is my full GCF for just those 2, right? Now we're going to do a miniature of what me and Giovanni just did. So I'm going to put d to the first power outside. Now watch this. 10d squared minus 6d. Put that in parentheses. Remember, I put my blank parentheses down here. And now what do I do with my GCF?
You divide it.
Divide it into each what?
Term.
Term. So here's 2, here's a d. Here's 2, here's a d. What is 10 divided by 2?
5.
5. Good. Okay. I got to get rid of that blinking line. All right. So it's 5. Now, what's d squared divided by d to the what power?
First.
There you go. So what do I do with the powers?
Divide.
Subtract.
Subtract.
2 minus 1 is what?
1.
So I get d to the first power, correct?
Yeah.
Bring down the what?
Subtraction sign.
There you go. What is 6 divided by 2?
3.
There you go. And what's d divided by d?
1.
1. Good. There you go. You did one part of it. So there's part 1. Now I'm going to do part 2. So here we go. I got 35d minus 21. What do I look at? The numbers. What is the GCF of 35 and 21? Well, I know 7 will go into 35. I also know 7 will go into 21. So my GCF of the numbers is going to be 7. Okay. What about D? I only see D in one of them, correct, Caitlin?
Yeah.
So I can't pull out a D in this 21. So
No.
my GCF is 7. And what did I do? I wrote 7 because that's my GCF. I'm going to rewrite this problem. 3, 35, not 3. Let's try 35. So 35D minus 21. What do I do with that? Put it in parentheses. Then put a blank set of parentheses next to my GCF. What do I do now to each term, Caitlin?
Divide.
By?
7.
Good. 35 divided by 7 is 5.
5.
Nothing with the D. Bring down the minus sign. 21 divided by 7 is?
3.
3. There we go. Now watch this. I did them separately. I'm going to bring them back together by adding them. And watch what happens. Because I don't have enough space, I'm going to do it down here at the bottom, okay? So I said, well, Caitlin said, 2D times 5D minus 3 plus 7 times 5D minus 3. How many terms do you have there, Caitlin?
2.
2. Do you see anything that is exactly the same in both?
Yes.
What?
The parentheses.
Which is?
5D minus 3.
There you go. So doesn't that mean that your GCF of that binomial is what?
5D minus 3.
And that means I can factor it out, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to write 5D minus 3. And remember what I did to the whole problem? I put it in what?
Parentheses.
And then I make a blank set of parentheses exactly below it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And now what do I do to each term?
Divide.
By?
5D minus 3.
5D minus 3. There we go. So what is 5D minus 3 divided by 5D minus 3?
1.
Good. What's left?
2D.
2D. Bring down the?
Plus sign.
What is 5D minus 3 divided by 5D minus 3?
1.
And what's left?
7.
So my final answer is what?
2D plus
5D
7.
minus 3 times what?
2D plus 7.
2D plus 7. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You definitely need a lot of practice when it comes to factoring these. I'm telling you all, because we're all going to go through chapter 15. You better make sure that you're paying attention to this, okay? So this over here is what's really, really important. Because you need to be able to know when I multiply, when I divide, what I do with variables and powers, and then what's the difference between if I add or just subtract them, okay? Because those two things are going to be huge to make sure you can maneuver through factoring polynomials, okay?
Mhm.
All right, let's open this back up. Oh man, I took out my mouse because it was making me crazy. Let's see. I am going to open it back up, see if we have any questions. You did a great job, Caitlin. Okay. All right. Anybody? We got questions on factoring polynomials.
No, sir. No, sir.
We're good on that. See how I'm just doing and repeating steps? It's over and over and over again. So I have to be able to do one section and then do it again with a bigger section. So you can factor out numbers, you can factor out variables, or you can factor out a whole binomial. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Let's see. All right, so here we go. Let's go to the quizzes. All right. All right, so quizzes. Here's the first one. Solve the system of linear equations by graphing. Who am I going to choose on now? That's all I have? Is all the people? I only have Angel, Deandra, Fabian, Giovanni, and Caitlin. All right, so let's do this. Is there anybody that wants to help me with this?
Me?
All right, Deandra, you got it.
Calm down.
Wow.
There we go. Deandra,
What up, sunshine?
here we go. Let's make this happen.
Bet.
All right, solve the system of linear equations. I got x minus 1 equals 1. What format is that in?
Standard?
Standard. Good. Do you want it in standard or you want it in something else?
Can we get it in slope?
Slope intercept form?
Mm-hmm.
So that means do what?
We solve for y.
Okay, so that means first step, what are we going to do?
PEMDAS and stuff like that, combine like terms, yada, yada, yada.
Good. Anything to do?
No.
All right, second step.
Yeah.
Yes, what are we going to do?
The x.
What are we going to do to the x?
We're gonna subtract. Wait.
So subtract x.
So,
The
okay.
one side I must.
Okay. Huh?
What I do to one side I must?
Do the other. You were lagging out so hard.
Yeah, I thought it was you. You need to get off.
No.
Get off of that T-Mobile. So here we go.
You think I got T-Mobile? You're funny.
X minus x goes to 0. What do you bring down?
Nothing. Oh, wait, no, the negative y.
Negative y. Bring down the?
Equal sign.
Bring down the?
Positive 1 minus x.
There you go. Now what?
You add the y?
Can't add. Y is protected.
Oh, wait. Y is protected.
What does step 3 say?
Remove all multiplication and division from near variables.
Is anything being multiplied to that y?
No.
And that's where we have to get used to seeing this negative what?
Oh,
Negative 1, correct? So what are we going to do?
we're gonna add the 1. Divide, whatever. Same thing.
Divide.
It's part of the property.
I divide by negative 1, and what I do to one side, I must?
Do to the other.
Remember, it's the whole side. So negative 1 divided by negative 1 is what?
1.
1. So that leaves me with a y. What is 1 divided by negative 1?
Negative 1.
Good. What is negative 1x divided by negative 1x?
Positive x.
Good. Now, I'm just going to rewrite it in slope intercept form. I'm going to switch it. Y equals x minus 1. Commutative property, I can switch those, correct? As long as I keep the signs with them, right?
Yep.
Okay, beautiful. So now this tells me my y-intercept and it tells me my slope.
Yep.
What's my y-intercept?
Negative 1. Or 0, negative 1.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's my slope?
1 over 1.
And that tells me to do what?
Go up 1, right 1.
Beautiful. Let's get on here now. So if I want 0, negative 1, here's 0 on the x-axis. Where should I go?
Wait. Where are you? Okay, right there. You go up one. No, go down one.
There you go, down one. And then I need to do what according to the slope?
Go up one and right one.
Up one, right one. Now what do I make?
A line.
That's a great job, DeAndre. Okay, so now let's do the second one. Is that one, what format is this?
Standard.
Good. So I got x plus y is equal to 5. What are you going to do?
Solve for y.
For y. First step says what?
PEMDAS and stuff like that. Yada, yada, yada.
Don't yada, yada, yada me. Simplify / combine like terms. What's the 4 checklist items?
PEMDAS, distribute, removing fractions, and factoring.
Good. Anything to do?
Not at all.
Good. Second step.
Yeah. No. Wait. Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Subtract the x.
Good. So subtract x. What I do to one side, I must.
Do to the other.
What comes down?
The plus y. The positive y.
Then what?
The equal sign.
Then what?
And then 5 minus x.
Beautiful. Are you done?
Not at all.
Is y all by itself?
Oh, wait. Yes, you are. I'm retarded.
There you
Wait,
go.
no, I'm not. Oh, my God.
Y is all by itself. It has a power of 1. So,
Yes.
the power of 1, it has a coefficient of 1. So y equals negative x plus 5. What is my y-intercept?
0, positive. 0, 5.
0, 5. Good. What's my slope?
1 over 1.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no. It's negative, so it'd be negative 1 over 1.
Beautiful. So that tells me to do what?
Go down 1 and right 1.
Good job. All right. So here we go. Here is 0. I go up or down?
You go up 5.
There we go. And now what?
You go down 1 and right 1.
Down 1, right 1. Good. Now what do I do?
Make a line.
Where do they intersect?
4, 3.
Good. So 1, 2, 3. You said 4, 3.
Yeah. Oh, because I counted from 0. Like the origin, and then I counted.
Start at the origin and go 1, 2, 3. So 3 is for my x. What about my y?
It's 3, 2. Yeah, I miscounted.
There you go. So my answer is
3, 2.
3, 2. That's a great job, DeAndre.
Yeah, oh, please, sunshine.
No, you really do. So now on this, you would have grabbed this and made that line. You would have grabbed this, then made that line, and they would have crossed that 3, 2. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go to this one. So I'm going to go faster now. I am going to, because there's 2 of them here, I'm going to do this real quick, and then I'll grab somebody else, and we'll do the next one. So here, naturally, you could have done what? What's the other format? We could have sat there and did a table. Now, I believe that slope-intercept form is a lot faster, but I need to make sure that you understand both ways, so I'm going to do this here. So remember, I get to choose. So I chose 0, 0, okay? 0 for the x and 0 for the y. So I'm going to do the first problem right here, okay? If x is 0, then I get y is equal to 3. That's how simple that was. So y is equal to 3. Fill it in. Then I'm going to fill in 0 for the y. So I get negative x plus 0 is equal to 3. What do I have to do? Divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. X is equal to negative 3. So I get negative 3, okay? Now, let's do this one. So if I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick 0, 0. So negative 3 times 0 plus y is equal to 9. That just says y is equal to 9. So I put a 9 in there. Now I put in negative 3x plus 0 equals 9. So there's nothing there. Divide by what? Negative 3, negative 3. X is equal to negative 3. So I put a negative 3 there. Notice I already know what my answer is. It's going to happen at negative 3, 0. But in order to graph, I need to be able to graph these. So 0, 3 is right there. Negative 3, 1, 2, 3 is there in 0. So now I would do my line. Okay. 0, 9. Here's 0. Here's 9. Correct? Here's negative 3, 0. And it would happen something like that. Okay? So I wanted to make sure you could see both ways. DeAndre did slope-intercept form. This is the way that I would do probably 99% of the problems. But then you need to be able to also see if they ask you for the table. Table is not that hard. It just doesn't give you all the answers all the time. But as you can see, it does give you what the y-intercept is, and it does tell you what the x-intercept is. Okay? So that's one way of being able to solve those problems. Any issues?
No.
No question?
No.
I got it.
Dude. All right. Yes, there. Boom. All right. All right. Solve the system by substitution. So literally, I need to solve for one. So I'm going to solve for this y. What that really says is y is equal to negative x plus 4. I know I cheated. I just went really, really quick. But we all knew that we were going to subtract x, okay? What do I do with this? Substitute it into the other one. So I get 2x minus 2 times what? Instead of a y, I'm going to put negative x plus 4 equals 16. What am I solving for now? The x, okay? So step 1, simplify / combine like terms. I am going to what? Distribute. Distribute what? Negative 2 into all of this. So I get 2x. Negative 2 times negative x is positive 2x. Negative 2 times positive 4 is negative 8 equals 16. Anything else to do for step number 1? Yes, combine like terms. And they're on the same side. So if they're on the same side, I just add them up. Okay? So I get 4x minus 8 equals 16. All right? Step 2. Remove all what? Addition, subtraction. So I'm going to add. If I add 8, okay? If I add 8, I need to do it on both sides. So I get 4x equals 24. Step 3, how you doing, Brianna? So now, step 3, I want to what? Remove multiplication and division. So I will divide. Divide by what? 4. So x equals what? 6. If I know x is equal to 6, what can I do? That's right. Plug it in here so I can solve for y. So y equals negative, instead of an x, I'm going to put 6 plus 4. This is nothing more than PEMDAS. So I get negative 2 is equal to the y. So if I know that y is equal to negative 2, x is equal to 6, then I get 6 negative 2. And that's my answer. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. I know. So here we go. Substitution, we already did it. Let's go through. Ooh, we're close. I'm about to have to go to my math department meeting. All right, laugh out loud. I'm sorry, I'm late. I thought it was 11. Yeah, read the website. All right, elimination. X plus 4y equals 6. 3x plus 4y equals 10. I know I'm going to eliminate the y, but they're exactly the same. So what am I going to do? I am going to subtract them. So 1 minus 3 is negative 2x. 4 minus 4 is 0. 6 minus 10 is negative 4. Now what do I do? That's right, solve for x. First step, nothing. Second step, nothing. Third step, divide. Divide by what? -2. So I get x equals +2. Since I know x is equal to +2, what am I going to do? That's correct. I can substitute it into either one. So let's do the top one. Instead of x, I'm going to put a 2. Plus 4y equals 6. Here we go. Simplify / combine like terms, nothing to do. Step 2, I'm going to remove it. So subtract. Subtract what? 2. And I'll do it from both sides. So I get 4y equals to what? 4. Step 3, divide. Divide by what? 4. Y is equal to 1. I know y is equal to 1. I know x is equal to 2. So I get 2, 1. And that is the answer by elimination. Then what else? Elimination again. And then our inequalities. Okay. So which one am I going to pick? So I need to get these in what? Slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. Right? So y is less than or equal to -2x plus 8. You saw that I just took this, subtracted, and I got that. Okay, what's the other one? It is, now these signs are going to switch, so I'm going to do that one second. So here we go. Y-intercept is what? 0, 8. Slope is what? -2/1. Go down 2 to the right 1. So all I got to do is find that. 0, 8 would be up here. Since it's a solid line, I know that this one doesn't work already. That doesn't work. Here's 0. Here's 8. Here's a solid line. So this might work. This is a dashed line again. Doesn't work. Here's a solid line. All right, so it might work. Now, 0, 8, down 2 to the right 1. That works. Down 2 to the right 1, so that works. Now I got to figure out where my shading. It says less than or equal to. Put the vertical line on it. Less than would be on this side of the line. It's not shaded all the way down. Therefore, I know, where did it go? Y, 0, 8, less than or equal to. Oh, they double shaded. So this works here. But this one here, as you can see right here, it's not shaded where it needs to be. Okay? So B would be my answer.